Hello, welcome to Iron Cherry 61. Today, I'll be talking about the concept of air parity. So, if you check the Wikipedia about air supremacy, so for air supremacy, there are 4 different layers. Air supremacy is the highest level where a site holds complete control of the skies. So, this is the highest level. Air superiority is the second level where a side is in a more favorable position than the opponent. It's defined in the NATO glossary as the degree of dominance in an air battle that permits the conduct of operations by one side and its related land, sea and air forces at a given time and place without prohibitive interference by air forces. Favorable air situation is air superiority limited in time and space, but sufficient to prevent enemy air power from prejudicing the success of friendly land, sea, or air operation. Air parity is the lowest level of control when no side holds any control of any level of control of skies. So if I show you Hearts of Fire, this is what happened. This is probably a situation of air parity. Both sides. So we pull out for the Soviet side, which is me, I pull out 400 planes, whereas the Germans pull out 600 planes, 600 fighters. Let's not compare the support planes and the bombers. They are not important. Fighters are the key to winning air superiority. So the German has more fighter than me, but my fighters is superior in terms of, you look at our stats. Our attack air attack is higher than their air defense, and our average agility is higher than them. Our average speed is higher than them as well. So you can see we have, even though we have less fighters than them, we still have some level of air superiority. So we are killing them at a ratio of 1:0. So as this goes on, yeah, so we are killing, you see we have suffered no loss so far, but they have lost 1 plane. So, but now we are losing air superiority because they are sending more amount of fighters, but we are still killing them. So that's interesting. Now they have 994 fighters, we have 400. We are still in a situation of air parity because we only have 48.5% air superiority. So, okay, so once I start to pull out more plane to contest them, 800 planes versus 994 planes. Okay, now they are killing us at a ratio of 5:1 because previously they outnumber us in terms of the plane production. But now okay, now the ratio is more even because now we have more fighters in the air, and remember our fighters is superior to theirs because my fighter is basically if you look at my fighter is the La GG3. This one, 1940 model, whereas their Messerschmitt is the 1936 model. Unless they start to get the Focke-Wulf, then they can contest the airspace more evenly. Plus, don't forget my fighters is the upgraded one, the La 3A. If you look at the La 3A stats, I have level 2 upgrades to the engine, so my planes is even more agile. So my fighters is qualitatively superior. But once I started to put more planes, I should be able to even the ratio. So see 1. So see I have less plane than them, but I still have 61.9% air superiority. So now I believe I'm in the state of air superiority, which is second level. But if I started to send in all the planes I have available and outnumber them, the whole situation changed drastically. So now I have 1,000 planes versus their 900 plus planes, and remember, each of my planes is better than them. So they started to send more fighters. They send the German sends 400 fighters. So they have 1,500 planes. I send more. Okay, I show you. So now I'm putting out 1,500 fighters. Okay, maybe I... Okay, so I've already sent out all the fighters I have in this region. Okay, 1,700. Okay, so now they send in 2,000 plane, and I have 1,700 fighters. So I'm killing them at this ratio 5. They lost 5 men, and I lost 0 men on that day. Okay, then since they send more planes, what I can do is I already have air superiority over them, but they have more planes than me. But if I want to achieve the highest level, which is air supremacy, I will have to send even more planes. I need to outnumber them. So I will send all these outdated fighter. This is the basically the 1936 model. I have a lot of them because if you look at my production, I concentrate 30 factories to produce fighters only. And if you look at my total fighter production, I have 5,496 fighters. If you look at the German side, if I switch to German, look at how many fighters they have. They only have 2,960 fighters. So in the long run, I will win the air war. So, sorry. Okay, let me go back to my side. So I will send in all my outdated fighters to help to turn the type to provide that quantitative advantage, because I want to have more fighters in the sky than them. This will allow me to totally dominate the airspace here. So now I have 2,000 planes. They only have 1,970. They can't afford to send more fighters because if you look at our production is way higher than them. I even have more fighters at Belarus, so I can send them to help in the air battle over Ukraine. See, 2,500 planes. Okay, so now they send even more fighters. I will send more fighters to dominate. So I was able to put out 3,000 fighters. Let's see whether they can match my number. I don't think they can. This is the maximum number of fighters they have in the game. And look at our ratio. We lost on this day. We lost 8 men. They lost 10 men. And you look at stats. We are way superior. Okay, only our air defense is lower than the air attack. That's all. So this number they can never match. So I believe we are in a state of air supremacy, which is the highest level. Total control over the sky. Okay. Regardless of the situation on the ground, I would say we are still able to achieve air superiority. So yeah, this is basically is what I want to discuss about. Okay, another interesting example of an air battle, of an intense air battle, is called the air combat over Cuban. So after the disastrous defeat at Stalingrad, the German has to retreat from the Caucasus. So when they retreat, they left a small bridgehead at this. It's called the Cuban bridgehead. So if I show you the Cuban, so it's a very interesting battle because I have read through this out. I hope to find a book on this. You can imagine a lot of planes flying over the sky and just shooting each other. Like what happened here in a sense. Basically just a lot of planes fighting, duking out for air superiority. So the Air Cuban is basically German military position on the Taman Peninsula. So it's basically located here. So this is the Cuban bridgehead. So there's a lot of air battle. It's a very interesting this is a very interesting part. I've tried to find a book about this, but I still looking for it. You can see a lot of there's very interesting stories. Basically it's like a battle of Britain, but it's over the Soviet Union. So you look at the German 4th Air Fleet, you can see they were fighting with the Soviet. The Luftwaffe was equipped with the Bf-109 and the Fokker 190A. Then the VAVS has the latest fighter, which is the Yak and the Lavochkin fighters. These are all good fighters. So it's basically fighting over battle between the modern fighters. So there's this first phase, second phase. So it's the Soviet. So there's a lot of interesting material about over it. The air battle in the Cuban. Yeah, you can see basically you see planes being shot down from the sky. So it's the Yak 9 fighters and the Mich 3. So they're trying to aim air supremacy over the bridgehead of German troops in the Cuban. Okay, then let me close down this bit loud. Okay, is there any more material? If you look at Wikipedia, they then provide information on how many fighters participate in this war, in this battle. Yeah, I think y'all should just find a book. Y'all should look out for this. It's a very interesting part of the battle. I think it was one of the hidden battle that not many people knew about it. Okay, I will stop my recording. If you like my content, please like and subscribe.